Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 14th of August. My disclaimer: I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.subset.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, okay, we have the flags. They've broken up. They've made new highs. So far, so not surprising. We are getting a particularly potentially interesting setup forming here. We have, once we retest this little high here, we'll have a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing here on ES. We've already got one on NQ, and a possible larger and better sell signal is forming. RTY. Retest this high, we won't get a 60-minute sell signal. We've got a pretty nice looking nested double top here at the moment. YM, interestingly, this has been lagging all week. This hasn't actually retested the highs or made any move to suggest that it actually might do so. In fact, yesterday it made a lower low. So watching this with interest, I have got a big trend line, which this has hit, and I'm wondering whether that might be forming a high here already. In terms of DAX, near the highs, no divergence. ESTX, near the highs, no divergence. Nikkei, which actually broke up from the head and shoulders on the RTH chart yesterday. Nice looking rising support trend line. Looks like a rising wedge, though not an ideal one with a sort of a three-touch resistance trend line yet. And we've got the 60-minute sell signal fixed there too. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Okay, looking at stocks, we are still testing the 50 DMA, and it's still not breaking over the 50 DMA. This is the line for breaking the head and shoulders. We are still some way short of it. Tesla, we broke down. This was a potential bull flag channel, which I was concerned about. We did break down the bottom of it, but we've been rallying, and we're trying to get back over the ding middle band at the moment. I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of this low. And in any case, this is no longer a bull flag because channels do not underthrow. All right, in terms of ES, yes, we've got a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing on the daily, and we've got a potential little level top here. On SPX, we have the same. I've got a potential trend line that could be a target here, not a bad one, and I've got that up in about the 78.15 to 20 area. And I am wondering whether we might get that. We are not actually far short of that at the moment. In terms of the Qs, on the hourly chart, we don't have a possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing. It went too low before we did that. We could easily get one brewing on the RSI 5. Nothing to speak of on the 15-minute. Looking at the Qs went back, retested the high. We've also got a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing. The diamond top doesn't really break down like head and shoulders does. So this hasn't failed yet, and mainly it'll fail basically when we get back up to the retest of the high, arguably here, but really when we get up to the retest of the high. In terms of the hourly chart, no divergence there. Apart from on the RSI 5, where we've had a little sell signal fixed. 15-minute, not a lot to speak of there either. All right, looking at Dyer, this hasn't actually really rallied, which is interesting because I was noticing, and I've redrawn the trend lines a bit to make them thicker, but this is the main resistance trend line for the move up from the April 2025 low, and this was, I've drawn it in and then we hit it. This potentially, obviously, could be a significant high, but if we do need to see a high retest, then while it makes that high retest, it could fuel the others to go higher. Watching this with interest. Hey, Doug. Right, Dyer. Still looking like a flag on the hourly, still looking like a flag on the 15-minute. Obviously, this buy signal had already made target. But just to review, ES and SPX, possible daily RSI 5 sell signals brewing. Qs, possible daily RSI 5 sell signal brewing. And moving on to IWM, we have a possible daily RSI 5 sell signal brewing. These are nice signals. If IWM goes higher, and it doesn't need to, but if it does, I've got a potential trend line here, and that's got a target in about the 311 area, I think. So we're pretty close to all of these. I mean, obviously, we could see a hard break higher. Not sure what the impetus for that would be. Tech clearly is not recovering. Well, it's recovered somewhat, but it's not recovered really strongly. And it doesn't look at the moment as though it's heading back to new highs again. In terms of the good news at the on the rest of the chart. It was mainly that the jobs numbers were so awful that everyone's assuming that there won't be a rise in interest rates. That's not actually really good news. That's kind of narrow gauge. Bad news as good news. But we will see. Nice looking double top on IWM. DAX close to the highs and with a little bit of negative divergence on the RSI 5. It's weak. Nikkei finally failed the head and shoulders yesterday, and this does have a target back up and a retest the high, and that is bullish. It's not as bullish as SO breaking up from the head and shoulders would be, but nonetheless it is bullish, so we will see how that goes. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. DX, the double top bottom is broken up. This is at the moment failing back into the lows, and I'm really thinking that actually looking at the others here, this is already back at the highs based on USD. GBP USD is heading for the retest of this high here and hasn't quite made it yet. USD JPY, this looks like a flag. This looks like a little level top potentially within the flag and a failure at the monthly pivot after basically almost 50 back after this big government intervention. I'm thinking this looks like it needs a retest of the low, and I'm watching this double top with interest. USD CAD has been forming a fairly decent looking bull flag here, and it's breaking down from it. That is leaning towards dollar on the downside. Australian dollar could be a flag, might be getting a bit oversized. NZUSD still wondering about this bullish consolidation here and a possible move to the IHS target at 59.63. I think on the balance of evidence, I'm thinking that DX is going to head back and retest this low next. ZB, still consolidation. Overall trend is still likely to be down. ZN the same. We have actually broken up for a double bottom on ZN. With the target in the 109.28 area. That could happen, but this does look like a bearish consolidation at the moment. All right, coil. Brent, we had a nice move up here from the lows, from this low, and then it looks like we're forming a bull flag, and we're likely forming a bull flag on CL2. Bullish consolidation stroke flag on HO, and the 60-minute sell signal has reached the possible near miss target. RBOB, this looks like a flag. These all look like bull flags. NG, we've got a double bottom which is broken up here. Nope, it's an inverse head and shoulders. Nope, it's a double bottom. All right, in that case, this could be forming a larger inverse head and shoulders. I'll just draw the line on that. But that is looking interesting. I'd say the quality was good rather than excellent, but still, it's pretty decent. That is a potential alternate inverted head and shoulder neckline, and we have got a 60-minute buy signal that's fixed, although it's rallied a fair amount since it's fixed, and it's not actually come within any danger of doing any serious damage. But we do have a possible larger IHS, which is breaking up as well, and that can take us back into about 3.05 area. Looking at GC, sell signal made target. Double bottom is broken up. Wondering about the upside, and that's got a target in the 48.35 to 49.25 area. SI, double bottoms broken up with a target in the 71.25 to 72.5 area. Sell signal again made target. Palladium, sell signals made target. This still kind of looks like a bear flag, but we've also got a double bottom that's broken up with a target in the 15.72 to 16.10 range. Platinum doesn't really look like a bull flag, and it's not really obviously a reversal pattern forming either. I'm watching this possible IHS neckline up here in about the 1850 area. HG, leaning towards the downside. We've got a nice looking overall double top here. KC. KC, we've got. Doug, if you want me to review anything before I finish, just drop the note in. All right, KC still looks like a bullish consolidation, setting up a retest of this high. SB, we had a sharp retracement, 6-minute sell signal fix. That hasn't made the possible near miss target yet. Might see some more retracement. This could be an ABC forming. All right, CC. Looks like a bullish consolidation before we head up, retest this high, and then ideally retest this high too. That could be the second high of a double top when we get that. Lumber going a little lower, needs to break down below the main support in about the 540 area, I think. CT, this looks like it's retested this high, but it hasn't on the bigger picture chart. So watching, expecting to see at least some more upside. CW, we've got a really messy double bottom. I haven't marked in the areas here because it is kind of messy. But we've got a messy double bottom breaking up. This may be heading back up towards a retest of this high. Corn, we've got a nice looking double bottom, which is broken up with a target at the retest of this high. On soy, slightly messier double bottom, which is broken up with a target in the 1204 area. That wouldn't get us back to a retest this high, but maybe a step on the way. ZL, this kind of looks like a bear flag for short term. Bigger picture, I'm expecting the next big target to be reached with a retest of this high. Live cattle looks like the double bottom is failing. Bigger picture, of course, we've got a head and shoulders which has broken down with a target in 204.45 area. And I was saying yesterday or on the last bigger picture webinar that I'm leaning towards this making target. HE, we've still got an open target back at a retest of this low, and I'm leaning towards that happening. Buy signal has already reached the possible near miss target. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. All right, brilliant. In that case, everyone have a wonderful weekend. Thank God it's Friday, and I will catch you guys again on Monday. All right, cheers.